Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Time now for the week that was. Let's take a look at the top stories that made headlines around the globe this week. Starting with in July 2023, the Nigeria headline inflation rose to 24.08% relative to that of the month before, which was 22.79%. This shows an increase of 1.29 percentage points. On a year-on-year basis, the headline inflation rate was 4.44 percentage points higher compared to the rate recorded in July 2022, which was 19.64%. In addition, on a month-on-month basis, the headline inflation rate in July 2023 was 2.89%, which was 0.76 higher than the rate recorded in June 2023. The biggest upward contribution came from cost of food and non-alcoholic beverages. Now, I remember sending you a message during the week saying, it has happened, wahala don't bust. But I mean, it's something that we were expecting. You know, as soon as the removal of fuel subsidy was announced in the inauguration speech of the president back in May 29th, we immediately saw a rise in, of course, fuel, a rise in food. Even I remember about a month ago, the president had to declare a state of emergency on food. And, you know, with these numbers coming out from, the NBS, and we're seeing this in these inflation numbers, what is really happening here is just a reflection of the delayed, the delayed consequences of everything that has happened in the past 2 months. And of course, even the floating of the naira has also contributed to this. But whereas we were almost expecting, I remember when we had that, I think it was the young farmer who had said, we're not going to actually see the effects of the rise of cost of food or fuel, of transportation until another 72 days. And that's what we're seeing here now. But I think what is most important and what to take away from this is, okay, now we have these figures. What is the current administration going to do about it? And we're going to get there, of course, because we've seen, it's one of the stories that happened this week with the 5 billion naira, allocation to the different states. Of course, the president coming out to say, we're not increasing fuel anymore. We're going to peg it at the current 600 naira per liter. But the truth is, when it comes to the day-to-day activities of Nigerian citizens, this in itself is not good news. And we really have to buckle up. Because what I'm getting from this is, it's probably, we spoke to Bode Oshosomi during the week trying to dissect exactly what was going on. He said, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Well, I mean, that's very apt. I listened to Bode too, and of course, that's, straight out, textbook reading of what is happening. And he will be correct as far as the papers, go. Rising inflation is a global thing that everybody is dealing with, particularly since 2021, post-COVID. So Nigeria, we knew we were not going to be, exempted. What a lot of people will have thought, and I think that many people are beginning to realize that now, is that given the trajectory of the global economy, with the COVID, with the Russian-Ukrainian war, that the sort of steps that a new government in Nigeria will be taking will at least be a lot more sensitive to the purchasing power of an average Nigerian citizen. Some policies might be good on paper, but of course in terms of implementation, that's when you now know that you will be adding to the problem of the people, which is what we're experiencing in Nigeria, at this time. Subsidy needed to be removed. But then did we need to remove it in the manner that we did? Off the cuff announcement that was not even in the plan. That was not even
part of the speech.
Was not part of the speech, was not even what you campaign on in the way that it will be removed. Could we have found a way to float in the naira in a different way rather than just devalue the naira to the point that we're now looking at a dollar to a naira to almost, 1,000 naira now? All these things will have a debilitating effect, on inflation. And it's a cost pool inflation that we are seeing. Many people won't be able to afford basic things. The carrying capacity, for example, of universities in Nigeria for the public schools is almost, is just barely more than half of the carrying capacity, which means that almost half of the other Nigerians that can go to public schools are in private schools. Practically every private school in Nigeria has increased fees. September will be dire for many people. And you'll still be dealing with all the other issues of fuel, of dollar, of foodstuffs and stuff. It will be tough. Yes, but it was right, it will be a lot tougher. But then when they say that things will be tough before it gets better, what is the picture of being better we expected to see? Is it like those who are earning 100,000 naira now will suddenly be earning 200 or 300,000? Even if they do, the prices that they will need to deal with, things that they will need to buy, will hardly come down. Yeah. So you will not have solved any problem at all by just increasing wages. You mentioned the issue of 5 billion naira, which I'm sure maybe at some point in the program we'll talk about, and then some loads of trucks of rice
100
and
bags
stuff.
of rice per state is what I'm
Whatever.
saying.
I mean, I'm saying, what is that meant to do? To address what? You give money
like
to governors,
a drop in the ocean.
and then from governors maybe to the local government, chairman, and then you say. I saw a video somewhere in Kwara State where a locality said that they were invited to come and get their own share of the rice that came, and by the time they now distributed to all the local governments, to all their own community, which is, I mean, you're talking of hundreds, if not thousands of houses. It is just 1/4 of a bag of rice that got to that community. And the gentleman who was speaking in the video said, this is what the federal government has sent to you through the governor. 1/4 of a bag of rice. How do we begin to share? Things like this can't address the enormity of the problems that we are in.
Definitely.
Our hope will be that now that the ministers will be sworn in tomorrow, on Monday in Abuja, let's hope that the way in which this administration has, created new ministries, couch other ministries, that maybe things will move. Mr. Wali Edun was Commissioner for Finance in Lagos State, and Asiwaju, main man, will run the economy, as we have been told, as Minister of Finance and as the coordinating Minister of the Economy. Something akin to what Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala did, under Jonathan. But of course, we also know that another gentleman, I think the gentleman from Ondo State, will run the marine and blue economy, which is, something that Asiwaju and the APC team have been talking about since. They say, will this bring an immediate relief, to Nigerians? It's about addressing the policies. And I'm hoping that from Monday all through the years, the rest of the year, the sort of a thing that we'll be hearing from Mr. Wali Edun as the coordinating minister of the economy will at least bring some understanding. Even before Soko comes, people will need to understand what the government is trying to do. At this point, in almost 3 months of this administration, we have not gotten that clear-cut reasons for certain policies and the expected gains that will come. If you do not have a minister that is able to break it down to people beyond what your Ajuri Ngalelis and co will try to explain in their press releases and scripted, TV appearances, you will need somebody who actually understands the economy to explain to people. Let's hope that Nigerians will be able to bear, the enormity of the consequences. But I know that things are so tough today that it looks to me like part of what even the media is trying to do is to be responsible in not overblowing the consequences that people are experiencing in terms of crime and armed robbery. It is on the increase, and I saw one video clip just yesterday, to the extent that in Niger in Lagos State, armed robbers attacked what do they call them? An orphanage.
Oh my goodness.
In Lagos, carted away everything. It is not just about even the clothes that the young people are wearing. Took everything away. This is where we are as a nation, and it is not looking good.
Definitely not.
At all. So let's hope that with the ministers coming in, maybe there will be a way that at least Nigerian can truly begin to have some level of hope.
Yes.
But as you know, hope is not a strategy.
Well, he did say it was going to be renewed hope. So the process of renewal is ongoing.
All right, then let's move on. It has been a sad and gloomy week for Nigeria, with the death of at least 20 of our soldiers in the hands of terrorists who laid an ambush for them in Niger State in the North Central. The soldiers were on board a Nigerian Air Force helicopter, which was on an evacuation mission when it crashed. A statement from the spokesperson of Nigerian Air Force, Commodore Edward Gagwet, confirmed that the aircraft had departed Zungeru Primary School en route nearby Kaduna, but was later discovered to have crashed near Chukuba village in Shiroro local government area of Niger State. The spokesperson said that efforts were ongoing to rescue the crew and passengers on board the helicopter while investigations had begun. I mean, Shaitan, that's a rather sad and gloomy one. Not just for the Nigerian Air Force or the Nigerian military in general, but for Nigerians, for Nigeria as a country, given the things that we are dealing with, and especially at a time that the drums of war are getting louder, with Niger Republic. Okay, so it is Niger that we are talking about where this happened. But, it's a warning signal. It is concerning that terrorists will come out to say that we did it. And these are the reasons why we did it. Some figures say 20, some say up to 30, some say 36. Even one is bad enough, to lose, to bring down an aircraft. And we were saying that, it's the firepower that we have that will assist the ECOWAS standing military if we go into Niger Republic. I do not want to mix the two, but again, it's something that is concerning to the level that is calling for attention to say that if we've got a war in our own backyard that we are fighting, why don't we concentrate on that and win convincingly rather than be the champions of war in a neighboring country? Niger State is the second largest state in Nigeria in terms of landmass after Borno State. Part of the reasons why fighting in places like that is very difficult is because of the huge landmass, and you do not have enough men to go around. Niger, as a country, in terms of landmass, is probably slightly bigger than Nigeria. Yes, their population is just about a quarter of our own, but then you'll be dealing with a massive, unmanned territories that anything can happen. Even if you win the war, what about the battle? That will linger for a lot of time. So while we commiserate with the Nigerian military over this loss, I think it is important that the military is decisive and seek justice for those slain officers of the Nigerian Navy, rather than listen to the governor of Niger State who is saying, "Oh no, military, don't go into a war mode. Let us mediate." You're mediating with terrorists who are killing people's fathers, people's husbands, Nigerians. Maybe some of them will be those that will even be thinking of taking to Niger. Niger has not started in terms of war, but our guys are dying in Niger State. And somebody under his watch is saying that he will go and speak with the terrorists. For how long are we going to deal with this sort of nonsense, that is happening in Niger State and a few other states in the north? The military will just have to be decisive. I
mean, we've kind of touched on, most of it, but just to add to what you said, definitely when it comes to mediating and having conversations with terrorists, I personally don't see the point in that. These are people that come out and, like you said, intentionally attack members of the military force, and this in the statement
and claiming
responsibility as well. And with the news the reports that has gotten back to us is, of course, that it's the Dogo Gidi terrorist group that has come out to claim that they're the ones responsible for this. And just to quickly touch, I was reading this report in this day over the week where they said, consequently, the terrorist has shot down the helicopter, but then they also proceeded to now even start to, when the plane came down. To actually start to attack them, you know. So they had a mission. They went in there for a reason, and they went there and they achieved that. Now, investigations are ongoing. This is already a very strong lead. These people have claimed responsibility. So with the same, you know, force that the Nigerian military is known for, I would believe that what we should be hearing now is we are going in to find those responsible and bring them to justice.
How many have we brought down? How many have we arrested? How many structures have they leveled? I mean, this is a war, isn't it? And we've been on, you know, at it for a long time.
Definitely. But we'll continue to monitor that investigation here on the Rise News.